Mirëmbrëma miq, mirë se erdhët në programin Familja 7. U realizua këtë shtator në Tiranë trajnimi 2 ditor pro Jetës nga organizata Heartbeat International. Qendra e kësaj organizate në Shtetet e Bashkuara të Amerikës ndihmon gratë dhe vajzat që përballen me tundimin dhe presionin për abortimin e foshnjave të tyre në mbarë botën. Në fakt ka një përgjigje përballë abortit të legalizuar. Sonte do sillim dëshmi nga Ellen Foell, specialiste programit në këtë organizatë dhe Svetlana Jovanova, drejtuese një prej qendrave të hapura në Maqedoni. Mirë se erdhët në studio.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having us.
Shumë kënaqësi tu kemi këtu këtë mbrëmje. Do të na tregoni pak për trajnimin pro Jetës që ndërmoret në Tiranë. Cili ishte qëllimi?
Well, there were several purposes actually. One was to connect with existing pregnancy help or pro-life organizations in Albania. And secondly, to find if there was interest for the creation of more pro-life organizations.
And at the same time, to develop the Balkan Network for Life. At the moment, we exist in several Balkan countries, and we do have a partner center here in Albania, in Lezhë, but we wanted to extend the invitation to the other cities and to encourage people to take that step in faith in what God is calling them to do, to be a voice for life.
Heartbeat International prej 50 vitesh po ushtron shërbesen në mbarë botën duke ndihmuar gra dhe vajza edhe duke ndihmuar në hapjen e shumë qendrave në shumë vende të ndryshme. Çfarë asistence jepni ju?
That's a great question, and it is one we are often asked. We are in over 90 countries right now. And what we do is we train, provide leadership development resources, first of all, to our affiliates in the various countries. Because we believe that the people in the country can reach the moms and the families in their own countries best. Every affiliate in a particular country knows the heart language of a woman in crisis. And so we seek to equip that organization in that country with the resources they need so that they can provide the assistance, the material aid, the counseling, the consulting to the women in their country.
Dhe një nga qendrat që keni ndihmuar që të hapet është në Maqedoni. Ne do donim që të dini më shumë nga Svetlana lidhur me këtë qendër edhe sa gra dhe vajza ju keni ndihmuar në një kohë shumë të gjatë për t'i thënë jo abortit.
Lydia Beating Heart, the only pregnancy help center in Macedonia for now, has been established in 2012, March 2012, and we opened the first center in September 2012. And in these past 11 years, we've helped more than several thousands of women. It's very hard to keep track of the numbers. We know like direct clients that we had in the center, but also through direct contact with the woman, we have indirect contact with her family, extended family, etc., her friends. And very often we've had clients who would come through a referral of our previous client. For almost 4 years, we also worked in a local hospital in Shtip, where we provided counseling for the women who would be coming there to schedule an abortion. Our Macedonian legislation at that time was allowing counseling before abortion. Actually, it was mandatory. So that mandatory counseling was provided by the counselors of Lydia. In those almost 4 years, we had more than 300 women just in one hospital in Macedonia. So you can imagine how many women we've reached throughout the country. And it's always wonderful to hear stories afterwards when they will call us, they will approach us, some women that, they didn't even hear directly from our counselors, but they've heard from their friends or they've seen on TV, radio interviews, etc. So the number, it's more than several thousand actually.
Por a keni, Svetlana, ndonjë dëshmi se si gra dhe vajza kanë ndryshuar mendje dhe I kanë thënë jo abortit?
I would like to share 2 stories. One that actually from our first client, and the second one is actually from a few months ago. Our first client came to us in November 2012, and she was single mom. She was engaged, and it was an unplanned pregnancy. So basically, her and her fiance were planning to have a child. But then suddenly he decided that he doesn't want to be a father anymore. He doesn't want to be a husband. And he literally kicked her out on the street. Because her family, her parents were also divorced. None of them wanted to take her in. So she was, for several months, she was living with her grandmother. Mm-hmm. When she came to us, she didn't have money to pay for the taxi. So we paid for the taxi. She came, we talked with her. And I remember that just a couple of months before that, we got several boxes of baby clothes as a donation. And what are the odds were, like, in all those boxes, there was only one white onesie for the baby. She was telling us that while she was still with her ex-fiancé, they were going through the stores, they wanted to buy something for the baby. They were looking for onesies. They couldn't find a white one. I mean, it's very, very remarkable, like how God make things happen. And then I remember that we had only one, and I gave it to her. And I said, this is a promise, I'm giving it to you. We will be there for you no matter what, and as long as you need us to be there and stand with you and fight for your child's life together with you. Because at one moment she said, I feel like I'm the only one who is fighting for this baby's life. Several years later, when we saw her again, I asked her, what did it make you decide for life for your baby? She said, when I was alone, you came to me and I wasn't alone anymore. I felt that someone has my back. I felt that someone is helping me, and you didn't know me, but you loved me, and you helped me become a mother to my baby boy. That baby boy now is 10 years old, and actually he just won a first prize in football. So it just remarkable is like we gave him the name gift from God, Božji dar, which really was a gift from God for her and for his mother, and for us as a Lydia Center. And actually, this was just a few months ago, where this woman is from the central part of Macedonia. She called us, and she was fighting anxiety. She already had an older daughter. She was 6. But she was fighting anxiety for several years. So she couldn't get out of the house. She was already several months pregnant, but she couldn't go to see the doctor because she was afraid to make a step outside of through her door. So one day, when after several conversations with our counselor, she made the decision to go and see a gynecologist. So before she went out through the door, she called Alexandra, our psychologist. She was on the phone, in the taxi, to the hospital, in the waiting room, in the doctor's office. Alexandra was saying, like, I can hear the doctor on the phone, what he's telling to this woman, everything that he was saying. So no matter that we were in Skopje, in the capital, and this woman was in Central Macedonia, several hundred kilometers away from us, we were still there with her on the phone. And the doctor told her that she will have a baby girl. And the next visits were the same. We will call, she will be on the phone till she goes to the doctor's office. Eventually, she was able to do it by herself, not fighting anxiety anymore. And the biggest surprise actually came when she was in the delivery room. And, you know, we thought that she's having baby girl. We filled the car with girl clothes, everything for girls, took her to her home. She went to have this baby, and guess what? It was a boy. So for several months, she was preparing to have a girl, and then this boy showed up, and it's like, surprise, I'm here. And it was amazing for her. Like, she was also excited for the boy, but she was saying, like, it doesn't matter if it's a boy or a girl. Lydia was here with me, even on the phone, and helped me make a decision for life.
Lavdi Zotit për gjërat e jashtëzakonshme që është duke bërë përmes jush. Do të kishe ndonjë dëshmi për të na treguar, Ellen, gjatë punës tënde?
I want to highlight something. What Svetlana shared, those two stories, that highlights the assistance that Heartbeat and Heartbeat's affiliates give to women around the world. Many, many women, probably the majority of women, choose abortion because they feel alone. And we believe, our affiliates believe, that no woman in an unplanned pregnancy should feel so alone that she feels she has no choice but to abort. So let me give you an example that I can share. This is one of my favorite examples. We have an affiliate in New Jersey where I was doing a training. And they have a very large bus, and that bus has an ultrasound machine on it. It has nurses on it, and they park their bus right outside the abortion clinic. Mm-hmm. And every day there are women lining up to have their abortion appointments. And the women on the bus go out and they talk to the women in line. And they invite them onto the bus to get a free ultrasound. We provide free ultrasounds, or our affiliates provide free ultrasounds. And a couple came out of the line onto the bus, and the ultrasound showed that she was pregnant, and it was a viable pregnancy. So she got off the bus, went back into line to have her appointment for the abortion. And her boyfriend was sitting on the bus still, and he was looking at the ultrasound, and he was crying. And he was asked, why are you crying? And he said, I really want this baby. And they said, have you told her? No. Then he said, I will help her. I will provide for this child. I will take care of her. And then they asked him the key question, have you told her that? And he said, no, I want to support her in whatever she decides. And he was told by the nurse, maybe you need to let her know that you will support her if she chooses life. And he texted her while she was in the abortion clinic. And 5 minutes later, she came out, and she had chosen life for her baby and for herself. So my point is, one of the things that anybody can do, anybody who is pro-life, they can come alongside a woman in an unplanned pregnancy, because what they need to know is they are not alone, and there are resources to help them.
Lavdi Jezusit, vërtet faleminderit për dëshmitë që na treguat, por ne po presim një qendër në Shqipëri. Cili është vizioni?
Well, you asked me earlier what was our purpose in being here for the conference. One of the purposes was to actually provide the training. And so what we did was we presented 4 trainings. One was on the biblical basis, what does God say about life and about life in the womb? So that is the word of life. And we make it completely biblical because we want to help people in the church understand that God has a plan for life, every life. So that's the first training. Then the second training we offer is how do you talk to a woman, or how do you talk to a family in a crisis pregnancy? And essentially the training is very simple. It's what we call the love approach. We listen and learn. We talk to a client, we let the client talk to us, and we learn about her situation. Then we think about with her options. Maybe it's parenting, maybe it is sexual integrity, maybe it is providing a plan for parenting through adoption. Then we give her a vision of herself, and this is really important. We give her a vision of herself and her value in God's eyes, because we are about helping women save their babies, but we also want to see a life for the woman that is full and robust and abundant in God. And then the last part we do is we help her make a plan. We empower her to make a plan to keep her baby. And the primary part of that last plan, is to be with her throughout the journey. So that's the second part. The third part is Svetlana teaches on healing from pregnancy loss, whether it's miscarriage, stillbirth, even some for infertility, abortion, because we have women who do choose for abortion, and we need to also be there regardless of the choice they have made. We want to reach them with the same love and compassion. And then the fourth part is, how can someone in Albania who wants to see a pro-life work started, how can they get launched? And so we provide some options, and then we provide further training.
Do unë lutem vërtet që të kemi shumë shpejt një qendër në Shqipëri dhe të kemi njerëz të gatshëm që duan që të shërbejnë. Më tregoni pak se si këtë punë, këtë shërbes për të punuar me gra dhe vajza, pra e ka vendosur Zoti në zemrën tuaj?
It's interesting, like growing up, I always, I love to teach. So when I was going for college, I went to study languages because I wanted to become a language teacher. And I am teaching in a certain way even now. I'm just not teaching languages. And when God called me to do this work, I thought I'm not equipped for this, you know, to have a pregnancy, to start a pregnancy center, to talk with these women. I'm single, I've never been married, never been pregnant. So I thought, I'm not qualified. God, I'm not qualified for this. I'm not equipped. I mean, please find someone else who has children, who is married, you know, who already has this experience. But God said, you know, I'm not calling the equipped. I equipped the called. So I'm calling you, and I will be equipping along the way to do this work. And I ask, why me? I mean, really? And he's like, well, you like to talk a lot, so here's an opportunity for you. And I believe that, you know, each one of us, and I'll speak for Lydia Center, each one of us has the same calling with different talents. But we are all called to be a voice for life. My colleague Alexandra, she's a psychologist and psychotherapist. So she's certified to do this work. She's qualified. My other colleague, she's a nurse. So we all have different talents and different calling. But the main calling is coming from God, because if it wasn't God, none of us would be here to serve these women.
Po për ty, Ellen?
You ask a very interesting question, Nela. And I would like to say it is a calling that I have felt. And it is. But it is a calling from God for every single person who is a follower of Jesus. Because the Word of God makes it very clear that God has created life. That life is made in the image of God. That all life has inherent value. It is value that nobody can give and nobody can take away from an individual. And because of those things, and because God commands in the 6th commandment, thou shalt not kill, the call to reach and to rescue women in unplanned pregnancies is for every disciple of Jesus Christ. I served first in this movement as an attorney. And Then I did some other work also with helping children in the courts. But this, to share what I believe is the pro-life mandate of God around the world, is really what we say is my sweet spot. Because this is what I believe will transform societies.
Por cili duhet të jetë, Svetlana, qëndrimi ynë si besimtar? Çfarë ndihme ne mund të japim dikujt që është duke kaluar përmes presionit të abortit?
In these 11 years since I've been working at Lydia, we've seen many women who have been pressured to have an abortion. And it breaks your heart when you see that it's either the father of the baby who puts the pressure, or the family, or the society, especially on girls who are single, who are not married. Especially on them, like, if you choose to keep this baby, how the society will look at you as a single mom. You won't be able to finish college. You cannot find a job. Who will take care of this baby? So it's devastating, not to be supported in their roles of being mothers. But we as believers, we have that call to protect those women, to protect those children on every single way that we can. Sometimes maybe the only thing that we can do is to pray. And that is the most important thing that we should do, is to pray for those women, to pray for those unborn children, and even to offer practical help if we can. For that single mom, our first client, we offered her to stay in our center. We had one room with a bed, and we said, if you do not have a place to go, call us. You can stay here with us. And for her, that was important. Like, we didn't know her. We didn't know her past, but we offered a bed to sleep in. And for her, that was crucial. You are offering me a practical help. We are not just saying, oh, we'll be there for you, or we will pray for you. We have something concrete to offer. As believers, sometimes maybe we can offer a meal, food to eat, or just say, you know what? If you keep this baby for the next year, I will buy diapers for you every single month. So practical helps very often can mean a fortune for these women to choose life.
Një pyetje e fundit lidhur me këtë temë, cili do të ishte një inkurajim, Ellen, që do t'i jepje një gruaje apo një vajze që e ka humbur beben e saj dhe është duke kaluar përmes, nëse mund të themi, pikollimit të riprodhues?
I think actually, if I can direct the question to Svetlana, because Svetlana teaches on this and led the training on this. Svetlana?
In those situations when a woman will tell us that she lost her child, very often we don't know what to say, so we just say, I don't know what to say. But what we should really do is say, I'm sorry for your loss. It's very important to acknowledge the existence of that child, and it's very important to acknowledge the loss, because sometimes women feel that they are not entitled to grief. If it's miscarriage, and if it's early in the pregnancy, very often maybe the extended family doesn't know that she was pregnant, because the doctors really encourage couples not to share about the news about the pregnancy in the first trimester, because most of the miscarriages actually happen in the first 3 months. So if they don't share that they were pregnant, if miscarriage happens, there is no one around them to support them in their grieving process. And that woman feels that she's a failure, that her body failed her, she cannot carry the pregnancy till full term to have this baby. The husband feels that he's not a father because they lost the child. But it's very important for them to build a support around them, someone who can ask them, how do you feel? And I want to also say that it's not only the woman who is grieving, it's also the father who is grieving. And we very often forget to ask about the father, how do you feel? If in the moment of this process of losing the child, he may rush the woman to the hospital. The doctors will give him a list of what he needs to do. They will take care of the wife, but they forget about the father. So it's very important also to ask him how he is doing. Is he grieving? And to tell him it's okay for you to grieve. Men and women grieve on different way and different pace. Women may grieve faster and immediately. For men, they grieve after they take care of their wife. But every woman needs to know that that child existed, and she needs to grieve. She needs to process all the emotions that she is feeling, and that grief is not linear. It doesn't go in a straight line up until reach the peak, goes down. Grief, it can be very, very messy. One day she can feel great, the next day she can feel very bad. But it's very important for her to be her support and to allow her to grieve in her own time.
Shumë faleminderit për ato që ndatë dhe dëshmitë që treguat sonte, dhe Zoti t'u përdor për lavdinë e tij.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you so
Many
much.
blessings in your life.
Many blessings to Albania.
Faleminderit. Mendo pak sikur ti të ishe zgjedhur për t'u abortuar nga nëna jote dhe nuk do ta shijoje kurrë dhuratën e jetës. Askush nga ne nuk ka të drejtë të vendosë për shuarjen e një jete. Jezusi tha, unë kam ardhur t'u jap jetë, ta keni atë me bollëk. Rikthehemi pas pak në studio.